Hi, my name is Anastasia Ellis, and this is my podcast, King to Be. Thank you so much for joining me, and if you want to keep updated for when more episodes come out, please subscribe and follow. So, don't mind the singing bowls in the back that I'm listening to right now. And honestly, I hope that they kind of like chill you out a little bit. But something that I wanted to come on and talk about today was something that I realized I'd been doing recently and kind of just like looked over it. But I wasn't paying attention to my emotions. And a certain day was coming up for me. That is just a day that brings a lot of trauma and upsetting feelings back up to the surface. And I was trying to ignore this day, even though I obviously knew it was coming up. You can't ignore a day. It's like, I don't know. But like, I guess to give you context of like a day that like, I'm not going to tell you the exact day, but like, for instance, like Mother's Day always like gets me very upset because my mother has passed away. And Mother's Day growing up wasn't the funnest thing after my mom passed. And there were a lot of things that were kind of forced onto me with like my stepmother that I didn't like. So for example, that's a day that like when it comes up, it's just a day that I cannot ignore. It's also a day that like everybody's always talking about because I think other than Christmas, Mother's Day is like the second most celebrated holiday or something like that. Second most important holiday in America. Something like that. I know it's up there. Mother's Day is like a big holiday. Because who doesn't love their mother, right? Sorry, just thinking about like, not everybody loves their mother. So I love my mother though. But anyway, so it wasn't Mother's Day that it was like, that was frustrating me, but like, a day kind of like that where it's just an unavoidable day. I know when it's coming up and I know how it's going to make me feel. And a lot of the time I ignore the day as much as I possibly can, which is not a good thing. I like didn't even mention it to like my boyfriend either, because like I just really, really, really wanted to ignore this day. And I mentioned it to him after he got back from work. I was just like, it's today. And he was like, oh, I didn't realize. And yeah, that whole day I was like really trying to ignore that. Like I couldn't sleep well. Like the past couple of days I have been like wide awake at night. I didn't sleep. I didn't fall asleep like 2 nights ago because like until like 4 or 5, and then like the next night after that I didn't go to sleep until like 6 in the morning. And I usually go to bed at like midnight clock, so it was messing. So yeah, since I was ignoring that last night, I was so tired. And I was so sad and frustrated that I just, when I was trying to go to sleep last night, I was trying to go to sleep around like 1ish. Couldn't fall asleep. I don't think I actually like laid down in bed until like after like, or like I don't think I actually got to bed until like 3:30 ish. But I was hysterically bawling, crying, wishing that I could get to sleep. And I was being so hard on myself too. I was, in my mind, I was thinking like, fuck, just go to bed. Like, why can't you just fucking fall asleep already? Like, I was being that hard on myself. And it wasn't helping anything. Luckily, like, Levi woke up and, you know, helped soothe me down a little bit and calm me down. Cause like I said, I was just so hysterical that like I couldn't even stop crying. And I know I probably cried myself to sleep last night. But I guess I wanted to like mention that like, as much as, then this was something that like even my boyfriend Levi was kind of mentioning, like we were kind of talking about last night when we were watching The Ultimatum, Queer Love, because that like just came out and everything. But we were watching that and like he was just like, you know, you think, like we were watching it and there was like, you know, people, you know, that like obviously needed to heal from like their trauma. I think like one of the characters, one of the people we were talking about specifically was like Ozzy. If you're watching like The Ultimatum, Queer Love, like we were talking about Ozzy and how like, wow, she had, also this is spoilers too, but like, wow, she really has like a lot of trauma from her parents that like she still like hasn't even addressed, and that's why like she doesn't like confrontation at all. And I was like kind of, and like so Levi was just like kind of saying too, like, you know, even like too when you think like you're like, because at one point Ozzy was just like, oh, I think I know what I need to do in order to like save my relationship. And Levi was like kind of like, we kind of paused and he was just like, you know, it's really funny how like you think that like you've gone through all of your healing, like in your healing process of like what you've gone through as a kid, and then like something else pops up and like just completely like throws you for a loop and you're like, oh wait, I wasn't healed from that. And we kind of brought that up again too, like this morning when we were talking, and I was just like, I need to stop acting like I'm already healed and remember that I am still healing. And he even said, like, I think everybody is in a continuous healing. Otherwise, like, it's either like, at least like how I feel about this now, especially after he said that like everybody is healing to some degree, you know? I think that like that's true. I don't think that like we're ever completely healed. We're always healing, just like how in life there's always room to grow and to learn. You're never going to know everything that there is to know in the universe. And that's like the beautiful part of life too, right? Like you're always going to be growing. Things are going to happen. But like, it doesn't mean that like you can't still find the beauty in life too, you know, just like with healing, like I liked how Levi, worded this, but like his analogy was just like, it's just like a house, you know, you have to take care of the house. There's wear and tear that happens as it gets older, you know, weather makes like, you know, certain weather will like tear down the house, you have to upkeep the house and the lawn and clean the gutters and da 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 da. Like there's always going to be something with the house that you're going to have to improve or clean or spot up, maybe even just change that like you just don't no longer like about the house and you just want something different. Like I think that's the same thing with life. It's just constantly working on yourself and constantly like growing and learning and seeing what the world is. I don't think that anybody has all the answers, not even our elders. So yeah, I guess I just wanted to say that for anybody that like, you know, it just goes up and down with like their journey, with like dealing with their trauma, with dealing with whatever struggle that they're going through right now. It's just like, just remember that it's today, it's not forever. Remember that like you have your ups and downs in life. It's gonna be that roller coaster, but like that's the beautiful thing about it. Like life is not about the destination, it is about the journey, just like a roller coaster too. Life, like the funnest part of the ride is the ride. It's not when it's over. You're not like, oh my god, like I was so thankful for that ride and that's gonna be all that I need for the rest of my life. No, you want to be on the ride, okay? And when it's over, you're like, fuck, I want to go back on that ride, or I want to go on another ride, Like, lots of analogies, but I hope that it helps to hear, because it helped for me to talk about it, even again, to like reiterate that there is no such thing as being healed, but there is such thing as healing. I should say that in like a mental health way, like there's always healing to be done. Obviously that's not in a physical way. But like, it depends on, what you got going on. But like, there's always healing to be done. Just when you think you're healed, something else will pop up and you'll realize like, oh, that's something that I need to deal. I need to like work on. That's something that I can be better with myself on. I think another thing too is just like remembering to have grace. And remember like how hard you're working and where you are now versus like where you were before. Perspective can be really hard to like remember that, but like, if you've been doing what you need to, you ain't hurting nobody, and like you're just trying to live a life that is happy, fulfilling. Like if you're just trying to strive for those things, like give yourself some grace. Give yourself some grace. And remember that like you're human. You're gonna be sad some days. Just like it rains some days, you're gonna be sad some days, and just like it's sunny all day outside sometimes with no clouds in the sky, you could be as happy as a clam another day, like literally the next day. You could be the happiest person in the world, and then the next day it's down. So give yourself grace. Remember that like you have to take care of yourself and rest, take breaks, listen to your body, listen to your mind and your heart. Yeah, that's kind of my message for today. I hope that resonated. I hope you guys have a great day. Stay Gucci.